Hey, I'm Matt, headed to work, and I want to talk about football. OU is in the college football playoff. We'll be playing Alabama in the Orange Bowl, and yeah, a lot of people think that OU does not belong in the college football playoff. But they beat every single team on their schedule. Alabama beat every single team on their schedule. Notre Dame beat every single team on their schedule. Clemson beat every single team on their schedule. Georgia did not beat every single team on their schedule. Georgia got blown out by 20 by LSU, who could not score anything, 0 on Alabama. Georgia has 2 losses. Oklahoma has 1 loss to Texas by 3 points on a neutral site. And then Oklahoma, in the conference championship game, beat Texas. Therefore, if you're like, Oklahoma did not win every game on their schedule, I didn't say we won every game on our schedule. I said that we beat every team on our schedule. So Texas was on our schedule, and yes, Oklahoma beat Texas. Georgia is not a conference champion. They're a good football team, but they're not a conference champion. Oklahoma won their conference. And then people were like, well, Ohio State deserved to be in over Oklahoma. You know, and you cite Oklahoma's defense as the reason why. Okay. Again, Oklahoma lost by 3 points to Texas on a neutral field, on a neutral site, and Texas was in the top 15 at the time. Can't remember their exact ranking. I think they might maybe 14th or something like, I don't know. But yeah. Also, the team that we lost to is playing Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. So, and Ohio State lost by 24 to Purdue, and Purdue was not ranked and is not ranked. And then also Oklahoma and Ohio State have a team this year, a mutual opponent that we each played, TCU. Okay, the score against Oklahoma and TCU was 52-27. Oklahoma scored 52, TCU scored 27. Ohio State, the score was 30-something to 28. Okay, 30-something to 28. So, yeah, you could say that it was early on and Urban Meyer wasn't coaching. That's wrong. He was coaching. He just wasn't allowed to be on the sideline during the game. He was allowed to coach him during the week, but he just wasn't allowed to be on the sideline during the game. So, yeah. And then you can also talk about, well, this and that. Okay, well, how about this? Rodney Anderson, our number 1 running back, an amazing running back, tore his ACL was it a game or two or a couple games before? One of the top running backs in the nation. I didn't say the top, I said one of the top running backs in the nation tore his ACL. So we're missing our starting running back at that time. So, when we played Texas. So you can make little things about why they, this happened and that happened and blah, blah, blah. So I don't care. Now let's get on to Alabama. Because the fact is, OU is in the college football playoff. That is a fact. Okay? That is a fact. Now, let's go to Alabama. Alabama! Okay. University of Oklahoma and Alabama have played 5 times. The record between the two schools is Oklahoma with 3 wins, Alabama with 1 win and 1 tie. The last time Alabama has beat OU was in 1963. John F. Kennedy was president. The Beatles were sweeping America by storm. See, the civil rights movement was still going on. Let's see. Yeah. So, 1963 is the last time Alabama beat the University of Oklahoma. And what's that you say? What's that you say? Oh, Alabama's been good the last, the 21st century. Alabama's been good, here recently. Okay. Before 2002, Alabama and the University of Oklahoma played twice. That's the 1 win and the 1 tie. The 1 win for Alabama. Since 2002, or in the 2000s, the University of Oklahoma's record against the University of Alabama is 3-0. Okay? 3-0. You go, oh, whoa, they haven't played since Saban. Nope. That's not true. The Sugar Bowl, where Alabama was hoping to play for a national title, and a bunch of people said they should have been in the national title game. Oklahoma and Alabama played in the Sugar Bowl. Guess who won that game? Trevor Knight. Run and gun all over Alabama. I remember that game. I watched that game. I was working at the post office during that game. Not physically at the post office. I mean, I was, employed by the post office. And I remember being at home watching it. Dude, are you serious? And here he goes again in my lane. We were watching that game, and Alabama's first offensive series, they just ran the ball right down for a touchdown. And I was like, crap, here we go. But you know what? OU came back, and our defense stepped up. And we won the game. So, Bob Stoops, undefeated against Alabama. Coach Bob Stoops is undefeated against Alabama. The last time the University of Alabama has beaten the University of Oklahoma was in 1963. And we have played them in recent years and won. University of Oklahoma also has more Heisman Trophy winners than Alabama. Has more draft picks than Alabama. I'm talking history. The University of Oklahoma also has two longer winning streaks than the University of Alabama at 31 and 47. And a little history about the winning streaks. OU won 31, lost a game, and then won 47 straight. OU won 31 straight games, lost 1 game, and then won 47 straight. So, the 31 at the time was the longest winning streak in FBS history. And then OU lost a game under Coach Bud Wilkinson, and then won 47 straight. Oh, man. And so, yeah. Also, I'm not saying that OU is going to win the national championship. I just want to talk about coincidences. Barry Switzer, Coach Barry Switzer, won a national championship in his second season. Coach Bob Stoops won a national championship in his second season. This is Coach Lincoln Riley's second season. I don't know. So, I don't know. Of course, I've been real nervous about I was nervous about the West Virginia game. And then I was nervous about the Big 12 championship game against Texas. And now I'm nervous about the Orange Bowl. But you know what? That's why they play the game. And there's also a company where you place bets and stuff. They're already paying out to people. They announced that they will pay out to people who, before the season started, bet on Alabama to win the national championship. They're already paying out. Really? Yeah. Let's see if Oklahoma, Clemson, or Notre Dame has anything to say about that. So, yep. Oh my goodness. So, I covered why the University of Oklahoma should have been in over Ohio State and Georgia. And I'm not taking anything away from those programs. I'm not. And in previous videos, dude, you're all over the freaking road. It's the same guy that completely came into my lane earlier. Golly. Stupid people. Not taking anything away from those teams. And in previous videos, at least 3 to 5 different videos, I have stated this, that I honestly believe that we need an 8-team playoff. We do. We need an 8-team playoff. And the way my 8-team playoff would work is we have the Power 5 conferences. Each Power 5 conference champion would get an automatic seat in the championship. Automatic. That way it would put really an unmarked police car with a big brush guard on the back, multiple antennas sticking out, and the license plate reads OHB. Each conference champion in the Power 5 conferences, each conference champion would get an automatic bid in. Automatic. That way it puts emphasis and rewards winning your conference championship. And then that would give us 3 at-large bids. And I think one of those at-larges needs to have an emphasis on a non-Power 5 undefeated conference champion. That way the Boise States and the UCFs, I'm talking historically, like Boise State all those years where they were like, oh, we should be playing for the national championship game and all that, UCF, you know, that would give them a shot. You know, hey, why not? Everybody loves a good underdog Cinderella story. So, and then, but it doesn't, one of the bids does not have to go to those. It's if a non-Power 5 team is deserving of it, you know, undefeated. Like this year, in my scenario, UCF would be in. So the teams this year that would be in would be Alabama, Clemson. Okay, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Washington. Those 5 teams. Okay? Those 5 teams would be in. And then I'd put in Notre Dame. They're an independent. They went undefeated, so that's 6 teams. I'd put in UCF there. UCF. Wait, yeah, did I say Washington? Okay, so those 5 teams. Notre Dame is a 16. UCF, they'd be the 7th. And 8th, I would put in Georgia. Okay? I think Georgia is the best team outside of the conference champions and the 2 undefeated teams. So that would be my 8-team playoff this year. Seeding, Alabama would be 1, Clemson 2. I'd probably keep Notre Dame at 3. OU at 4. Ohio State at 5. That would be, Ohio State at 5. Washington at 6. And then 7, I'd put Georgia, and UCF I'd put 8. So that would be my 8-team playoff this year. And that's how I would do it. And you wouldn't have to extend the postseason any. Right now, the teams have roughly a month off before their next game. What you would do, conference championship week, the following Sunday, like they already do, announce the 8 teams in, where they'll be playing, the seeding, and then they get a week off, and 2 weeks after the conference championship, they'd play the first round of the playoffs. And then they would get the next week off, which would be Christmas. And then the following week, just like how they do it now, they would play the second round, which is currently the first round. They'd play the second round, New Year's Day, around that time frame. And then you'd play the national championship at the same time, at the time you're playing it now. You're not extending the regular season or the postseason by any amount of time. You're not having to start the regular season early. You're not having to take away a regular season game. You're not having to do any of that. I honestly think that a month off from football is just too long. I mean, the players are they've been playing a season, and they're ready to go. And that month off, it's just too long because your body starts to wind down, and you almost have to get back into game shape. So 2 weeks off, game. 2 weeks off, game. And then what is it? A week later, national championship game. Simple. Don't have to extend anything. Don't have to do any of that. And that 2 weeks off after the regular season will give bodies time to, recuperate and stuff like that. And it's not anything that isn't already normal, because teams now have a bye week, so during the regular season they have 2 weeks off. So that's my solution. So yeah, in a later video I will give my thoughts on playoff predictions and everything, but I'm gonna stop the video. Bye.